Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be doing a tier ranking of all the Cozy Mystery individual books that I read last year, 2023, and thanks to you guys had voted in my community poll whether you wanted me to separate these or do all the books at once, so I'm going to do two of these. This is the Cozy Mystery Edition, and I will have a thriller edition later on, so if you are a fan of cozy mysteries or any type of mystery or thriller, definitely hit subscribe because I post that kind of content all the time. To it, I have over 100 cozy mysteries that I read last year, so we're just going to hop right in because this is going to be a doozy. Okay, so I have 5 tier ranks here. They're pretty self-explanatory. We have the top is the best, like kind of 4 stars or fun, memorable reads, ones I really enjoyed. The third one is average to good. So these are ones that I enjoyed reading. I would possibly recommend them based on like maybe specific tropes or things like that, but they're not like rave series, at least not yet. And then we have not my fave. These were just okay at best, just nothing super memorable, nothing I really am like dying to go back and read more of. And then DNF or no thanks, so those are ones that I did not finish or just were not for me for one reason or another. So hopping in, we have, as you can see, a lot. Wow, okay, that's really overwhelming. Let's start going through these. So the first one is 15 Minutes of Flame by Kristen Brecher. That was a DNF for me. I read that for Summerween, and it had beautiful fall like cover, really beautiful, but I just felt like I was so not invested in the characters or the mystery. I thought, the fall like setting was beautifully done. It had a very cozy vibe, but it just wasn't for me in terms of the writing style and the mystery. I just wasn't really that engaged with it as much as I wanted to be, even though the plot sounded right up my alley, but it wasn't for me. Next we have Crime for the Books. So I actually read 2 books from the Jane Doe Book Club mystery series this year, and I have like kind of mixed thoughts on them so far. I feel like they can be a little too corny for my taste, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the characters need maybe a little more depth or something, but I love the theme for the Jane Doe Book Club, which is basically this group of women who meet together for a book club. They read mysteries, but they also look at cold, like, Jane Doe cases, and I find that to be a very interesting concept. So I'm gonna say we had Crime for the Books, and then there was one other one. Oh, On Borrowed Crime, that was the first one. So On Borrowed Crime was the one, I would say that one was just kind of like, it wasn't my all-time favorite. It was like fine, I enjoyed it. It was enough to get me to read book 2, which I'm glad I did. Crime for the Books was more in this like average to good. I felt like the series is developing nicely, and it had a really awesome theme with like Halloween, and it was based on a Murders Announced by Agatha Christie, which really pulled me in. So I'm glad I read that one. First one wasn't as strong in my opinion, but I really loved Crime for the Books. A Killer Sunday. So I read that and A Game of Cones by Abby Collette. Absolutely. These were definitely in the fun, memorable, like 4-star, very strong reads. I definitely want to read more from this series. I haven't heard anything else about the 4th book coming out because I'm caught up in it. If you have, let me know, but I haven't seen anything about a 4th book, and I'm like, I need more Bronwyn. I want more Bronwyn. She's an amazing character. Next we have A Deed of Dreadful Note by Patricia Meredith. So this is a historical fiction cozy mystery. It takes place with Anna Catherine Green, who's an author, an actual mystery author from the 1900s, late 1800s. And she actually wrote mystery novels before like Sherlock Holmes and like Agatha Christie's books came out. So she actually established a lot of the tropes we know and love today, and this was excellent. I cried. The subplots for this were so emotional. The mystery fooled me. I love Patricia Meredith's writing. Actually, there's 2 more books by her in here, and we might as well just move these like up. I would say I liked Cupboards All Bare. I'm going to put that in the fun, memorable reads, but the Crazy Maids one, where is that? Yeah, Crazy Maids in a Row is the 3rd and the most recent of the Spokane Clock Towers, which Cupboards All Bare is too, and that was in the best for me. Again, I cried. And I very rarely cry with books, but these 2 are like the standout. They made me cry this year, so yeah. Most Agreeable Murder, this was absolutely just... Which one do I put it in? I really loved it. I think I gotta put it in the best. It's just so creative. It's by Julia Seals, and it takes place during the same era as like Pride and Prejudice, and our main character loves true crime, and she's a lady, and she's not supposed to be into stuff like that, but she decides to put her interests aside to save her family by trying to like woo this bachelor who's very wealthy at this ball, and then a murder happens, and it's so good. I had so much fun. It's very witty, very comedic. I loved it. A Murder You'll Regret by Winnie Archer, part of my Bread Shop mystery series. I love, again, that's the Christmas vibes for that were so immaculate. I'll link my Christmas reading vlog where I had that above if you want to check it out, but it was so good. It's a bread shop assistant, and I think it's Santa Sofia, California, and she's also a photographer part-time, so lots of interesting elements. The bread is delicious. Agatha Christie, A Pocket Full of Rye, that was, I'd say, a really strong read for me, like a good 4 stars. I really enjoyed that. Okay, A Sprinkle in Time by Dana Mentink. It's gotta be in the best. I really love the Shake Shop Mystery Series. I promise I have more that are in the bottom tiers. It just happens the order we're going in happened to be some of my favorites, but it was during a fall. It was the Alpenfest. The mystery was so good. And I love Trinidad Jones. She's got a lot of interesting people in her life, a lot of good side characters in this one. A Fatal Glow by Valerie Wilson Wesley. This is one with a supernatural element. You have Odessa Jones as our main character. This is the second book in the series. Really enjoyed book 1, and she basically has like some psychic abilities, and she can pick up on people's like glimmers or like auras. She can kind of get like an emotional reading on them, but it's not overpowering because I'm not a huge supernatural cozy fan, and this is just the right amount where it's just a touch of it, but it's mostly still relying on her sleuthing and her like, you know, ability to read people. So I'm gonna put this in fun, memorable 4 stars. Oh, you know what? This A Quiet Run in the Country, I didn't read this that year. That was one that slipped in, so excuse that one. Let's do a couple of these quicker. Be Our Ghost. There's 2. There's A Doom with a View and Be Our Ghost. These were just... they're fine. I think Doom with the View was the one I enjoyed more, but Be Our Ghost, it kind of just... the series just kind of puttered out for me, and it seemed like there was a lot of just random moments. And I know Cozies are known for slice of life, but they really, it was like half slice of life moments to mystery. It felt like the mystery was just kind of like there. And I want a mystery. Like, I'm reading a cozy mystery, I want it to be cozy, but I want it to be a mystery first and foremost. So that was not my favorite. Against the Current by Olivia Matthews. Absolutely loved that. That goes up there. That's the first one, the Spice Isle Bakery mystery series. I also read Hard Dough Homicide, which is book 2. That one I didn't love as much. I thought that was more... it was above average, but it was good. Like, definitely solid. Still enjoyed it, but I feel like Against the Current was definitely stronger. I really, really enjoyed that. But I'm definitely planning on continuing the series. Book 3 just came out right after Christmas, so I definitely want to get my hands on that. A couple DNFs actually right here. Checked Out for Murder by Alison Brooke. This is part of the Haunted Library mystery series. I loved the other books in the series. They were really solid, like 3.5, 4-star reads usually. This one, I could not get into the mystery. I don't know what it was, but I was so uninterested in the mystery for this one, so I ended up DNFing it, but I will plan on reading more in the series because the other books were really good, and I like it. Again, it's like it's just a slightly supernatural cozy where everything else is normal, but we have like a library ghost who's very friendly and cool. So I like that like level of supernatural, but otherwise, I would recommend the series. I just didn't like Checked Out for Murder for some reason. Death by Snickerdoodle. So this is the Death by Chocolate series by Sarah Graves. I'm officially just, in general, this is my last attempt here. I'm giving up on this series. I really, really want to love it with every fiber of my being because the Death by Chocolate theme, there's, you know, I think it's the Chocolate Mousse or something, is like the chocolate shop they run, and it's a duo of 2 women who are friends, and it takes place like on the East Coast with like the water, there's lots of boating, it's a beautiful setting, but I just don't care about the mystery or characters, and I've read a couple from this series, and I just can't get into it. I so badly want to. I don't know what it is, but we're just not compatible. It's just not for me. Likewise, Because I Could Not Stop for Death, that was not supposed to be on this list, but the I Heard a Fly Buzz When I Died was actually my last read of the year, and that was a fun, memorable read. Historical fiction. Emily Dickinson is actually kind of our central character, and her maid Willa is the one we're reading the story from, and this was really good. It was a really good read. Very beautiful, like, historical details, lots of sometimes... There was a very fun character who was introduced in this. We actually had an appearance from Louisa May Alcott, from who writes Little Women, and I loved that as a fan, so that was amazing. Assaulted Caramel by Amanda Flower. I'm going to put that in the fun, memorable reads. I definitely want to read that series. I really, really enjoyed that. Baking Spirits Bright, and then we also have 6 Sweets Under, which is book 1, so let's do that first. So 6 Sweets Under, this one is good. It's written by Sarah Fox. This is the True Confections mystery series. Our main character moves back to this small town in Vermont, and it's like the Venice of North America. Like there's actual like waterways and boats through it, like Venice, and it's just the coziest town. Amazing setting. The first book was good. It was like a 3.5 stars, so I'm gonna put it in the middle. But Baking Spirits Bright was the second book and the Christmas themed one, and that one bumped it up. Like the writing and pacing just felt better to me, and I really flew through it and enjoyed it. So that's gonna go in the 4-star for me. The Raven Thief. Oh my goodness. So this is the second book in the Secret Staircase mystery series by Gigi Pandian. I read book 1 the year before, 2022, and I really enjoyed that, but I felt like pacing-wise it needed a little work, but I loved the characters, I loved the mystery, I loved the setting and the theme. Because her family basically has a secret staircase company where they build secret staircases and rooms and like compartments, and like it's so cool. It's such a cool theme, and there's this unique family history, and the main character Tempest is a magician. Like she used to perform in like Vegas and stuff, and it's so cool. But The Raven Thief was a locked room mystery that took it to the next level, and the pacing was fabulous. Like this one really, I could tell an improvement. Like it really picked up for me, and that one's going in 5, like top tier. Amazing. Loved it. Caramel Crush by Jen McKinley, part of the Cupcake Bakery Mystery Series. One of my favorite series, just a classic culinary cozy. That's going in the 4 stars. Buried in a Good Book by Tamara Berry. This was part of the By the Book mystery series, and I started that this year. There's a couple more in this list from this one, and this was amazing. Like such a punchy, fast-paced book, especially for a cozy. It felt almost like thriller-like in terms of the pacing, but it was still a cozy mystery, and the main character is a thriller writer, and she and her teenage daughter are living together in this remote cabin in a small town. It's amazing. I really love it. Cheddar Off Dead by Karina Moss, the Cheese Shop mystery series. I started it this year. I'm in love. Absolutely in love. So that is gonna have to go like it's just so good. I don't know. I feel like the first book, I want to say like 4 stars, but the other ones on this list, so I have Curds of Prey. I really love that. That's book 3 in the series. And then Where is Gone for Gouda, because that was my favorite. There's Gone for Gouda. That was my favorite of the 3. They were all excellent. Strongly recommend the series. I think it gets better with each book, but Gone for Gouda was just my favorite personally with like the plot line. I thought it was so much fun. Chill to the Cone by Ellie Alexander, just a solid read. The Bake Shop mystery series, fabulous. This one I particularly liked. It really stood out as an especially good read, so I'm going to put it in the top. Botched for Murder. This one was in the good average category for me. This one is, it's good. Like it's a solid cozy. It's the only one I've read from the series, so I would like to maybe try 1 or 2 others from the series, but this one, it just doesn't stand out super well for me. I do remember really loving the ending. It was very like punchy, but I just felt like I was sluggish a little bit through parts of the book, and it's not like a standout for me, but it was definitely enjoyable. I have a bunch from the Laura Levine Jane Austen mystery series, and this is like a comedy first cozy mystery series about a freelance writer named Jane Austen and her cat Prozac. And this is, like I said, it's comedy heavy. It is very self-deprecating. You cannot take the humor seriously or you will be offended in so many ways. It's very funny though, in my opinion. So I have Death by Pantyhose. That was a solid, like I'm gonna put that in good. Death of a Neighborhood Witch though, the Halloween one, that was like especially good. I really enjoyed that. So we're putting that in the second to top tier. There was Death of a Trophy Wife. That was, I particularly liked that one, so we're going to put that there. And then, what else? Oh, we have Killer Blonde. I'm going to put that again, like, in the good. It was solid. I would recommend the whole series. I'm almost caught up with it, and it's just been so much fun. It's one I save for, like, a rough night when I had, like, a bad day, because it just makes me laugh every time. I mean, her cat's name is Prozac. Like, I mean, if that just doesn't give you an idea of how funny the series is, it just gets better. Oh, speaking of Cupcake Bakery Mystery Series, Death by Devil's Food Cake, that was a really good one. I'm gonna put that in the fun, memorable reads category. Let's see. Let's knock out a couple of my not favorites. I ended up DNFing the, I want to say this is, what is this series called again? This is like the Key West food blogger series. The characters, like, they started off strong, the series, but the more I got into the series, it felt like the characters started to lose their personality. They became, like, more one note and just obnoxious. Like, I just was irritated with the characters the more I got into the series, unfortunately. So that one, the series as a whole, I ended up DNFing, unfortunately. Yeah, just not a top hit for me. Killer Content was also a DNF. I just felt like it was trying too hard to be like cool and like with it, with like millennial language and social media stuff. And I like the social media influencer aspect, but the mystery, the main character was so obsessed to find out why this person that nobody else thought was murdered, but there was no reason why she should have thought this. Like, we were halfway through the book and there was no compelling reason to think she had been murdered, in my opinion. Like, I was just like, why is this a story? Like, I don't know. I just didn't get the main character's like obsession to solve this murder of this person she basically didn't know, who also there was no real distinguishing reason to think that it was a murder. It was really weird, in my opinion. I don't know. I just didn't love it. Not a favorite. Death Gone Awry, Breadshot Mystery Series, that goes fun, memorable, right reads. That's always a 4 or 5 star mystery series for me. I just love it. Auntie Lee's Delights. I finally read that, a Singaporean mystery. Fantastic. I only regret that I had held off reading it so long. Auntie Lee, if you like Vera Wong, who is also on this list and is definitely going on the top, where is she? Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. Both her and Auntie Lee are both like these women who are described as being as a certain age. They're both older, they're both widows, they both have either a child or children or like stepchildren in their life through their marriage, and they both have restaurants or like a tea shop in Vera Wong's case, and they both end up involved in a mystery, and it's just, they're so witty and heartwarming, and you just want them to be part of your life. And then the delicious food descriptions, oh my goodness, I was so hungry. And then just the family, the circle, they kind of like found family they develop. I love it. If you liked Vera Wong, I would check out Auntie Lee. I really enjoyed that. Ooh, Hot and Sour Suspects by Vivian Chan. Absolutely a fun, memorable read. I'm going to put that in the best. And then we had Misfortune Cookie by Vivian Chan as well. And I'm going to put that in... I mean, I feel like it deserves the best too. The Noodle Shop Mystery Series is one of my favorites. Main character is Lana Lee. She's in her late 20s. She's got a pug, and she is the host and like manager at her family's noodle shop in Asia Village, which is like a plaza with all these different Asian restaurants and establishments and businesses. And I just love it. She's so amazing. The mysteries are great, and the series just gets better and better with every book. So I mean, those deserve to be in the top. This might shock some of you, but Death on Tap by Alexander was just kind of average for me. I don't know if the series improves, but I just kind of felt like the main character fell into the mystery and like solved it without really trying. Like, everything just kind of fell into her lap. I liked her as a character. I liked the setting and everything else about it. So I do want to read another book or two from it, see how I feel about the series as a whole. But in terms of book one, I just was kind of like, okay, I mean, it's pretty good. Like, I don't know, I didn't love it as much as like the Bake Shop Mystery Series right off the bat, but I want to give it a little more time to develop and see if it like grows on me. So we'll see this year. Okay, Killer Kung Pao, that needs to go to the end. That one was not read this year, my bad. It was hard, it was a little hard to organize some of these. Steeped to Death, that one was... It wasn't my all-time favorite. I mean, I liked the concept, but it's just a little... What I'm discovering is when things are truly, like, supernatural, I'm just not a big fan of it. Same with Witch Trial by Kate Conte. Again, this writing was really beautiful. I have no doubt the mystery delivers, but I ended up actually DNFing it just because I couldn't get... Like, it was so much about her being a witch and discovering her powers and stuff. So if you're looking for more of, like, a fantasy set in, like, our world with the mystery, like, on the side, I think you'd love it. I really do. I thought the writing was so beautiful and the character was interesting and the world building was interesting, but I just wanted more with a mystery. That's what I was going into it for, and it just kind of felt like an afterthought. Same thing with Secondhand Spirits. I did finish that one, but it was just not my favorite. Again, I thought the writing was good. The world building, the witchy powers and stuff, again, interesting, but it weighed much more into that witchy storyline with a touch of mystery. It was more about the supernatural and the fantasy. So if you're looking, or you really like that kind of element, you'd probably really love it. I thought it was really good. Otherwise, she had a vintage boutique and she could like read the emotions from the clothing and stuff. It was a really cool concept. It just wasn't quite for me. So it just not my favorite personally. Let's tackle Curses Boiled Again by Sherry Randall, who's also known as Mary Allen. She writes the Ice Cream Mystery Series, which I will also be going through because I read all 3 of those this year, and this was great. Fun, memorable read, really solid, really enjoyed it. I did purchase book 2. So really solid read. The main character is a ballet dancer who's taking time off because she's injured herself. She's working with her aunt in the lobster shack, and just a fun setting. I really enjoyed the beautiful like East Coast setting. Really want to read more. I bought book 2 and I'm looking forward to it. Death of a Cozy Writer by G.M. Malliott. This was good. This was a memorable read for me. It's very much like a golden age mystery set in contemporary times, and it involves cozy like writers and mystery writers, so I really enjoyed the heavy emphasis on this. The main character is like a small town like detective, so if you like an amateur sleuth, keep that in mind, but otherwise I really enjoy that series. So I did read both of the Deep Dish Pizza Mystery series by Mindy Quigley this year. So the first book is called 6 Feet Deep Dish, and that one was, I would say it was very good. Like, it was a strong 3.5, 3.75, very good. But Ashes to Ashes, Crust to Crust jumped up to like the best, because not only was the writing and everything even better in book 2, but the ending, like the final aha clue moment, was fabulous. Like, it was such a creative clue. I'd never seen anything like it before, and I was so thrilled with it. I loved how it turned out. Also, the main character has like shared custody of a cat named Bob, and he's very chunky and he's really adorable. So if you like cats, you'll love that. Easter Hare Hunt is part of the Bad Hair Day Mystery Series by Nancy J. Cohen. That was in the memorable fun read. That was one of the first cozy mystery series I ever started reading, and I just have a soft spot for it, but I do think it really holds up. I think the writing is fun, and this was a really fun seasonal read. Miss Jeffries and Three Wise Women. I read this for the Christmas vlog I linked above, and it's just not my favorite. Now, I will say I jumped into the series way into it, so I feel like if I go back, which I'm planning on doing, that could definitely shift. But I just felt like it was very repetitive. We basically would have Miss Jeffries, who's the housekeeper to like a detective inspector guy, and he'd be on a case, and then she would go out and talk to people that maybe he can't talk to without like, you know, them like kind of raising their defenses and stuff. And she would have some of the other people in the household help her out, like other maids or butlers and stuff. And then they would all go out and we'd be following each of these characters, and then they would come back and they would tell each other what we just learned by following them, and then she would tell the inspector. So it was like reading the same thing like multiple times over. It was a little repetitive. I definitely want to give it more of a chance, but it's just this particular book didn't quite do it for me. Now let's cover the Ice Cream Mystery Series by Mary Allen. So the first one in that series is The Rocky Road to Ruin. I'm going to put that in the definitely fun, memorable, really good, loved it. Mint Chocolate Murder, though, took it to the next level. The mystery for that, wow, so solid, and it takes place in like a castle, and there's like artwork, and it's beautiful. And then Fatal Fudge Swirl was the third in the most recently released book in the series, and that was absolutely the best. Like, it's a Halloween cozy mystery with a Halloween wedding and festival and ice cream flavors, and it's just the most like Halloween cozy you could possibly find, and I love it. There's also 2 very cute cats that are there, and I just love the community that Riley is building. She is a ex-CIA librarian. She works in the ice cream shop. She's got a very interesting background we're learning about, and I'm really enjoying that. But oof, the whole series I definitely recommend. I just love it. It's really good. All That Is Hidden by Reese Bone. I'm going to put that in very fun, memorable reads. It's part of the Molly Murphy series, the latest release from last year, and I'm a big fan of the series. It's very good. It takes place in the early 1900s. Molly is an Irish-American immigrant, and we're kind of following her life as she establishes like a detective service earlier on. Then she gets married, but she still gets into shenanigans, and this was a really solid ending. I really loved the mystery for this one. Kind of unpopular opinion, but no harm, no foul. I like the Grilled Cheese Mystery Series by Linda Riley. I've read 2 so far, but it's just not a favorite of mine. I don't know what it is. I know so many people love it, and I know some of you who are cozy fans are probably watching this and going, what? How could she not love it? I like it. I just don't like love it. I don't know. I feel like so many people rave about it, but I'm just not connecting with the characters and writing style in the same way, and I'm really bummed about that, because the idea of a grilled cheese mystery and the food mentions are amazing. So it's definitely not bad. I don't know, it's just not my favorite personally. I wish, it's just one of the ones I so badly want to like it, just like the Death by Chocolate series, but I'm just not adoring it. It's definitely not bad, it's just not my favorite. Get Away with Murder. That is the first in the Diane Kelly series, and I really, really liked that. That was a fun, memorable read. I recently read that in a vlog. I'll link it above for like a winter kind of read, and it takes place where this main character recently had like an amicable divorce. She's in her early 50s. She's like starting over with a mountain lodge that she's like reestablishing. The final clue for this one was really good. It was really memorable, so that one's definitely a strong one for me. Eat, Drink, and Drop Dead. I really did like this. This was the first and only one so far in the Austin Tiffany food blogger series. I liked that this main character writes like food articles. I think it combines two things I love, which is the food and the writing element. So it's kind of bookish and food related. Getting Old is Murder. This was hilarious. This was top tier for sure. This is part of the Gladys Gold mystery series. I've already bought book 2. I can't wait to read it. Gladys Gold is like in her 70s. She lives in a retirement community, and her friends solve this mystery because the police aren't taking them seriously. Some of the people in the retirement community are passing away, and the police aren't really taking it seriously when they're saying, hey, I don't think they're dying naturally, like because they're older, so they're just assuming they're dying naturally. They're not really looking into it. But Gladys Gold figures it out, and the ending for this was really hardcore considering. I mean, still cozy, but I was so impressed. And the humor and the wittiness of the writing style was really fabulous. Freshly Brewed Murder. I really enjoyed that. This is by Emmeline Duncan. It's the first book in the series. I do plan on reading more. I really like coffee cozies, even though I don't drink coffee. It's just such a comforting, like, kind of theme, and this one was really good. The main character is actually, her name is Sage. She has a coffee truck with her friend, and she has like an interesting past where her mother's a con artist, so she kind of knows some con artist like techniques even though she's not using them, but it's really interesting, like her thought process with things, so I really enjoyed that aspect. I'd say Killing Bridezilla. Again, this is the Jane Austen mystery series. That was in the good category for me. Killer Cruise, though, was particularly fun from that series because her cat sneaks onto the cruise ship with her. It's hilarious. It just had so many quirky, memorable characters, so that was especially funny. Fateful Words. I'm really sad. This one was not my favorite. And this is part of the Scottish Bookshop Mystery Series by Paige Shelton, which I love. And this is the only book in that series that I actually haven't like adored. I've loved every other book in that series. I'm a passionate fan of that series. I always look forward to the new release, but this one just kind of fell flat. Like the mystery felt like it lagged. It didn't feel like it was super relevant. It just kind of felt like it was there. And I just wasn't that engaged with it, and I'm so bummed out about that. I mean, the characters and setting were still beautiful, and I'm definitely going to read the next book, and I'm sure it'll be great, but this one was just like an off one for me. I just didn't care for it as much. Let's see, Last Rites, another Jane Austen mystery series. I'm a big fan, as you can see. I really got into this year. That was in the good category for me. Pampered to Death, another Jane Austen mystery series. Again, that would probably be like a strong good for me. Murder, She Barked. That was part of the Krista Davis series, the Paws and Claws mystery series. I am planning on reading more from this series, but it wasn't as strong as I wanted. Now, it's book 1. I feel like it could really improve. The main character was really nice. I did enjoy her relationship with her grandmother and the fact that it's a pet-friendly like hotel, like inn that they run, so they have all these cool like pet themed events. I just didn't really love the mystery as much as I wanted to, but I do like Krista Davis's writing, so I want to read more from that series. I think I could definitely change my mind on that as I get into it. Okay, so we have 2 from the Ice Cream Shop mystery series. Last Licks was really fun, and that's a Halloween themed one. Absolutely, and I really, really loved this one here as well, which I think is like Chocolate Fudge Murder. I'm going to put that on screen because I can't quite read it. Both of those were good. I feel like the mysteries for these are like surprisingly really interesting and like usually have way more layers than I expect, which I think is really nice, and the ice cream theme is really fun, of course, so I really enjoyed that. There's also a lot of family relationship and dynamics with this because you have the main character and then her grandmother and her niece, and they all live under the same house and are involved in the ice cream shop, so I really love that dynamic as well. Killer Research by Jen McKinley. This was good. It was a solid read for me, not like a standout, but another good one from the Library Lovers mystery series, which I am a big fan of. Oh, Murder with a Cherry on Top. That was the particularly good one. So I actually, let me put this, I'm going to switch this one here. That was good, but these 2 were the best out of those 3 for sure. Live and Let Chai. So I read that one, and then No Good Tea Goes Unpunished. Those are part of the Seaside Cafe mystery series, which is a like iced sweet tea like cafe by the ocean, which is really cool. And I really enjoyed both of those. I would say those are in the 4-star, like very solid, fun, memorable reads. Then I read the first 2 books in the Scottish Shire mystery series. So the first one was Murder at the Scottish Shire, and this involves Paisley. She is a young single mother. She's like in her very late 20s. Her son is like 8 or 9, and her grandfather also lives with her. This was definitely a top tier read for me. I really enjoyed that. And the second one was good, but it was still very good, but I'm putting it in the fun, memorable reads because I don't remember as much about it. So I still strongly recommend the series. I just got book 3 and 4 for Christmas. I'm really excited to get to those. But book 1 was especially strong for me, so that's going to go in the top tier. Mocha She Wrote, that was especially good from the Bake Shop Mystery. I really, really enjoyed that one. Murder is a Piece of Cake. This was such a fun, like lighthearted, just really quick one. It's like only 220 some pages, but really fun. Our main character is Maddie, and she's like a social media manager, but she's now working in a bake shop, which is her great aunt Octavia's that she's left her. She's taking care of Baby, who is a giant mastiff, and she's living in her grandmother's old house in like Michigan. It's completely like lifestyle shock for her, but it's really fun. Miss Marple, The Complete Stories, I mean, these are just fantastic. It's Agatha Christie, of course. It's going in the best. I had a really good time with this, and they really kept my attention, even though I'm not the biggest short story reader. So that, to me, is a really strong sign. A couple that I didn't love as much. I'm still kind of up in the air about Cleo Coyle's Haunted Bookshop Mystery Series. I like it. I think it's right for certain people, but I don't know how I feel about the ghost Jack. Like, I think he can be fun, but he also kind of rubs me the wrong way sometimes. So I don't know, like I'm kind of mixed feelings on that one. Still one I plan on reading some more from, but I'm a little bit mixed on it. So that's why it's going in that category. Puzzle Pieces, this was unfortunately, it was very kindly sent to me, but I did end up DNFing it because A, I just wasn't very interested. I just didn't really connect with the writing style. And then B, it's advertised as a cozy mystery, but there were some very graphic romantic scenes, like where the characters being like felt up, like pretty descriptively, which to me breaks the cozy mystery genre. So for that reason, I DNF'd it. Oh boy, let's see. Play the Fool by Lena Chern. I also DNF'd that. The main character irritated me. It rubbed me the wrong way. I felt like it was a little bit more graphic than a cozy mystery typically is, and that alone wouldn't have been enough for me to DNF it because I was enjoying certain parts of it, but I just felt like it was repetitive. It was kind of boring. I felt like I could see every plot like turn and twist as we were going through it. Even though it had a really unique theme with a tarot card reader as like the main character, I just couldn't quite get into it. I just was like, okay, not my favorite. Again, I feel like some people could absolutely love this, but it just wasn't for me. Let's see. Golden Spoon, absolutely, that was a top tier. This one's a little different from your traditional cozy. You're following around multiple points of view, but it feels like a Clue meets the British Bake Off is like the best description I've heard of it. And you have all these different characters. They're very much like caricatures, but they're fun caricatures. You read from each of their points of views, and they're competing in this Bake Off at this estate. It's a very beautiful, like ideal Clue mansion like kind of setting. Really love it. If you like baking like me, you'll really love the descriptions as well. Let's see, Telling the Truth, that one was a DNF. I only got like 50 or so pages into it, but my problem was the writing style. I really it had like a garden club as the theme, which I thought would be fun and springy and like summery, but the main character would go on these like tangents in her mind, and it would go on for like paragraphs. So she'd give you the backstory of like every character you met for like paragraphs, and maybe it was somehow relevant to the end, but I just could not get myself to read through all of it because it just was like we'd meet like a clerk at the store and it was suddenly like paragraphs of their backstory and how they've evolved over the years, and I was just like, I don't care. Like I'm sorry. Like I couldn't get myself to care. It was not for me. The Ghost and the Femme Fatale. So that one I liked more than The Ghost and the Dead Deb from the Haunted Bookshop Mystery Series. So that one was a little more enjoyable, more punchy. I just had more fun time with that. Peg and Rose Solve a Murder. Absolutely the best. We have two ladies, they're both like seniors, and they're sister-in-laws who've had a very estranged, rough relationship, but they're reconnecting, and oh my goodness, I love them. Their banter, their opposite personalities, but the way they like come together for the mystery, oh my goodness, it's so funny and I love it to pieces. Absolutely. Actually, I think I picked the wrong cover for it. I read Peg and Rose Stir Up Trouble, but the same goes for that. It was just as good as book one, so ignore the cover, but that the premise holds. Murder Off the Books. So this one was part of the Buy the Books one. Again, I liked it. It wasn't quite as solid as book one, but it was still a very fun, strong read. They're opening a bookshop in that, so I really enjoyed that. Moose and Murder is part of the Alaskan Diner mystery series. That's going to go in memorable reads. Apparently that's our thickest column here, but hey, I'm happy to have a lot of good reads. The ending for this was surprisingly, like, really got me. I found it to be a little bit sluggish in the middle, but the character Charlie, she has an Alaskan diner that used to be like her family's, and now she's taken over. Her chef is murdered, and it's just a really fun read. I liked learning about Alaska and all of the different like weather elements up there, because I've never lived somewhere that was like extremely cold like that. So that was very interesting and unique to me. And then the actual mystery at the end, like the motive and how it came together, was really gripping. I was super impressed with it. So that one I'm definitely planning on reading more from. Nothing But Trouble, that was a good Bake Shop mystery series, but it didn't stand out to me as much. Actually, I think, now that I'm thinking about it, that was actually one that I ended up DNFing. It was the only one from the Bake Shop mystery series that I didn't love, kind of like Fateful Words. I don't want to put it in the bottom tier because it was still a Bake Shop mystery, which I love, but I definitely didn't enjoy it nearly as much as the other ones, just because it was about like this old cold case from the past, but it was like really like sluggish, and I was really struggling to like maintain my attention. I finally just kind of gave up, but I've read books since then and I loved it, so take that as you will. On Spine of Death, again from the Buy the Books mystery series. Oh, here's Peg and Rose Stir Up Trouble. Let me switch. We're gonna switch that out. Just had the wrong cover. Murder Wears a Little Black Dress by Dan Sandfelder. Again, this is becoming a series I'm really enjoying. I just picked up book 2 and so far it's going great. This one took place during Halloween. We had like a haunted dress. It has like a fashion boutique. It's like secondhand clothing. I'm really getting into some fashion cozies. We have a grumpy cat named Howard. We have interesting backstories and family drama. I'm really enjoying this with Kelly. I think she's a great character, so I'm really enjoying that series. Seems Deadly, that was a DNF for me. I only got part of the way into that. Unfortunately, I like the knitting. Like, I have other cozies on here that are fashion related or knitting or like sewing related, but this one, it just would go into the most, to me at least, as a non-sewer, it would go into the super mundane details, and I was just like, I can't read through paragraphs about different types of stitches. If you're someone who's really passionate about sewing, you might find it interesting, but if you're someone like me who's just kind of interested in like the general theme but doesn't want to read like pages of stuff about it, this might be a little too much for you. I also found I didn't really like the main character. I felt like everyone loved her and was like giving her everything and trying to help her in every way possible, even though they're all strangers, and she did like nothing for anyone. Like, she's just there. And I was like, why does everyone adore her? I couldn't really figure it out. I mean, she seemed okay, but I was like, why does everyone adore her? Like, I couldn't figure it out. Soul of the Killer. This was the second in the Books and Biscuits mystery series by Abby Collette. I don't like this series as much as her Ice Cream Parlor mystery series. I really liked her first book in the series, but Soul of the Killer, the second book, was a little weaker for me. It was still good. I'm still looking forward to reading more from the series, although I don't know when the next book's coming out, but just not quite as strong for me. We have actually 3 different Christmas Tree Farm mysteries here, and these were all really good. I'm going to put these in the memorable category. I've been binging these before Christmas. They're by Jacqueline Frost. My friend Tiffany from Beach Bum Bookworm introduced me to them, and I love them. I mean, everything about this is Christmas to the utmost. It takes place on a Christmas tree farm. There's reindeer games. There's a cupcake store with her best friend Caroline. The mysteries are always really fun and well thought out. There's so much Christmasness to the, like, Christmassy elements to this. Like, if you love Christmas, you'll love this series. Another Jen McKinley, I think this one's called One for the Books. This was a good read for me, but Sugar Plum Poisoned, her cupcake bakery one, that was a top tier read for me. I really, really loved that. The PMS Murder by Laura Levine, again, another Jane Austen, a very solid, I'm going to put this, actually, I did like this one a little bit. It was a little, I find her books either like 3.5 or 4 for me. That one fell more into the 4 stars, so I'm going to put it there. The Maid, absolutely loved it. I loved Molly as a character. She is a bit unique. She's described as odd. I think a lot of people on Goodreads say that she's kind of like autistic coded, I think is the term. But regardless, she's a very interesting character. She takes things very literally. She's a little bit awkward in social circumstances. Her grandmother's recently passed, so she's really dealing with grief. And she gets involved in a mystery when she finds a guest at the hotel she works at as a maid in their bed dead. She gets involved in the mystery and she's actually blamed for it just because people are kind of reading her intentions wrong, just because she's a little different. And I think her character development throughout this was just the greatest. It's a very character driven book. I really recommend it for that. The Darling Delilahs and the Cucumber Tree, I'm going to put that in good. I liked it. I don't know if I'm going to continue with the series a lot. I would consider it for sure, but it just, I don't know. It wasn't an all-time favorite. It didn't stand out to me. Proof of the Pudding by Respawn. I'm really sad to put this in not my fave. I loved the Royal Spineless Mystery Series, and this was the greatest letdown because I've been looking forward to this so long. It came out in November. It takes place on a beautiful estate with a poison garden and a dinner party where someone's poisoned. Like everything I love in a mystery. And I just felt like the mystery was an afterthought, and it was so much about Georgie and her, how she's an expectant mother, and that's great. And I like the slice of life moments, of course, in cozy mysteries, but it was too much. It really felt like the mystery was just kind of there, and like the mystery was so, I called it so early, like incredibly early. There were so many good elements and I wanted to love it so much. I had such high hopes. That's how I feel about Fateful Words. Again, both of them were solid books. They probably deserved to be a little higher up, but because I had such high expectations, because they're series I adore, they're kind of in the not my fave as a result. Scoop to Kill, that was a DNF. I really couldn't stand the main character. She's like in her late 30s and she was more immature than like her 18-year-old niece. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't handle it. Secret Books and Scone Society, that was a solid read, a good one, like a 3.5 stars for me. I really enjoyed the darker notes on the character's history, like even though it's still cozy, and because each of the characters in the society have to kind of reveal the reason that they're at this North Carolina town, which is all about like healing. And I liked the openness and vulnerability between the women, so I really look forward to reading more from that. Uninvited Corpse by Deborah Senfelder. It was like average, you know, it was okay. It was like 3 stars. I want to read more from the series, but I'm really enjoying her other series, The Murder Wears a Little Black Dress. That one is much stronger in my opinion, so I'm planning on reading more of that. Pint of No Return, loved that. I think A Sprinkle in Time is stronger, but I really did like A Pint of No Return as well, so that's going to go in the 4-star kind of range. This was the Christmas Cozy from Jen McKinley's Library Lover. That one was definitely pretty high up there. We have a lot of 4 stars, but this is just how it falls. Toured to Death was in the DNF. It's the Amy's Travel Agency mystery series. I couldn't have cared less about the characters. I really wanted to, but even though there were so many cool tropes with this and like a murder mystery game that was incorporated with the travel group they were taking, I couldn't care less about the characters. I was so disengaged with it. The writing style just didn't do it for me. And then these last 4 are the ones that I accidentally included in this. So let's just take a quick look. So I think, you know, overall a lot of these are from series that I was continuing from past years. So it's, you know, I expected to have more books in the higher categories, just knowing that I'm continuing series since cozies tend to be very, you know, serial. But I think overall this is pretty good. I'm happy with this. I'm happy I didn't have too many DNFs or strong dislikes overall, because of course I pick up a book wanting to like it. But let me know if you have read any of these, how would you rank them? And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do post mystery content every week on the channel, ranging from anything super cozy with the cozy mysteries all the way to darker thrillers. So if you like mysteries, hit subscribe and I'll see you guys in my next video. And let me know down below, have you read any of these? How would you rank them? I'll see you guys soon. Bye!